Thanks for staying with us. So our second hot topic. A woman is being brutalized, was being brutalized by her husband, her ex-husband, for putting marks on their children. So there was a viral video of a man who was seen attacking his wife on her way to her shop. According to him, he claimed he had seen strange marks on their children's heads. And the wife explained that she put the marks to fend off spiritual attacks and protect the children. This angered the man, and he hit her with a stone. Now, what are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 08107641679, 0902416340. You can also tweet to us at TVC Entertainment _. We'd love to hear from you. Now, let me just restate the fact that ex-husband, which means they are no longer together. It's possible they're doing shared parenting. Okay. So maybe the parents, the kids were with her in her custody. And because they were in her custody, at some point she had to release them to the husband, to the ex-husband. And while in her custody, maybe through her spiritual counseling, her family rituals or tradition to protect her children, she made an independent decision to put those marks on her children. Wow. Now, maybe the children now went over to the father's house and he saw it. Now, he got angry, and instead of having a conversation, he comes to her to hit her head on the stone. So there are two different issues here. Let's start with the lady's decision to put those marks on her own children, not a stranger's children, on her own children.
But not only one person they born picking. Because you carry the child does not mean that it was your seed. So it's two. Two of you came together, two of you co-own those children. And every decision that has to do with those children's lives and their future must pass through both of you. That's how it's done. That's the sanest thing to do. If you suspected evil spirits disturbing your children, probably by the time they came home to stay with you, why don't you call your husband? Even get his thoughts on it. Some men do not like that form of thing at all. They will tell you, leave this child, God will protect. Some people do not believe in that. Let me even give you a personal experience. So when my grandma was raising me, there was a time I was constantly falling sick. Constantly. My father was not available at the time. And I remember she would take me to the hospital. The next week, she's back to the hospital. You know, she keeps going back, and she was so concerned. She would cry. I would see her cry and all of that. There was a time I could not walk. I couldn't move my legs. You know, I was bedridden. And so she panicked, and she called one of the elderly people in the village at the time to come see me. And by the time the lady came, she looked at me and she said, are you sure it's not Obanje that is disturbing this girl? That she would like to give me this incision, this one that they do 2-2 here and 2-2 here. The way my grandmother screamed, they say, the father will kill me. That I know. Right now, I cannot reach him to ask him what his take is on it, and I cannot take the decision myself. I was happy she did that, because imagine me on this table now with these two.
You'll still be crying.
And when she was true to her words, when my father finally came and she had that conversation, my father said, "But mommy, you know, I would have killed you." You know, so you cannot just take that decision because you feel I carry them more. You know, that 9 months gives us like this bragging right. They stayed with me more and all of that. It's totally wrong. What she did was wrong. You say we should not talk about the husband first.
Wait.
No, so it look like I'm supporting him or debating.
I want to bring this angle with the husband, because there's sometimes the possibility that a woman, especially because from this story, it seems like they're divorced and they're not together.
It doesn't matter.
She might feel that the spiritual problem that is troubling your father, I'm beginning to see this in this my children, and I want to protect them. Maybe because sometimes when you leave a man, you feel that maybe there are demons that are disturbing him. That's why you want to protect your children, or you feel that he has remarried somebody
who is a witch.
So there are different reasons. Like a woman will say, you know what? Let me give you these marks.
We can't judge. We can't judge people. The only person that can be judged in this story is the man who committed battery, who beat up his wife. That's the only person I'll judge. Any other judging you are judging based on your worldview of someone's belief. Our great-grandfathers and grandfathers and great-great-great-grandfathers believed in the power of incision. They've been using it as a way to protect. They use it as a way to insert herbs into the body. Some are not even about demonic attacks. It's about the fact that if I open this place, I'll now put herbs. The herbs go into your bloodstreams. It protects you in one way or the other. For whatever their beliefs is. Judging that woman is me saying that your belief is wrong. My own belief is better, that God is more powerful. That's the way I see it.
We are not judging.
That's the way I see it. So for me, I look at that person and I'm like, could you have done it better? 100%. Could you have discussed and found a way to convince your husband? Maybe not marry an unreasonable man. So if you now find yourself married to a man that you're already divorced, which means that there is no, you guys struggle to find a way to communicate with each other to the extent you divorced. Your decision to protect your child as you see fit is your responsibility.
It's not just your
there
child.
There are many people that they will put agbo. How many of us have our mothers forced us to take agbo?
Yes.
And in this modern times, some people can say, what is agbo? I use my pills. I use my medicine. I believe in the blood of Jesus. Guess what? In my school, somebody did not take medicine because the father is a pastor and the father says the blood of Jesus heals all sicknesses. This person has diabetes. Type 1 child, diabetes. So everybody, if you believe wrongly, I'm not judging your belief, but for you to beat a woman because she did an incision, why can't you find you will discuss it, you are angry, and you are lashing out on the child.
The story is that he saw an incision on his children's head. And the wife cannot explain
where he entered,
how the incisions came about. So he targeted her. She didn't set well. He was provoked and wrongly.
The lawyer has spoken.
For the stone. No, he might just get off it. If he says, for the fear of my children, I question that she didn't answer me, and that provocation just might stand. And sadly, Tokpa will be shocked because the only place provocation does not absorb fully is in murder cases. He might just get off it. His children too. Yes. Whatever fears you have to sing better, 17, 14, whatever number on their heads, is what he has to say, no, do not touch my children. Equal rights in parenting. No parent can be arrested for the kidnap of their child.
Thank you.
So even if that conversation is difficult, I think that the grievous bodily harm Tokpa is addressing is the consequence of having, of having to do it.
Nima.
I'm saying
she's talking as a lawyer.
Don't say it. You are justifying another cases.
I'm just saying, Tokpa.
Let's be careful.
Allow her.
Choose our
What
word.
with consequence?
There's a provocation.
Okay.
Allow her.
Wait.
Allow our lawyer, please.
I come into a place and see my child with some funny looks on them, cane marks now. How do you think I will welcome that teacher? You think I can sit still and have a proper conversation? Then you will understand I'm provoked because I'm a mother. But because he's a father now, I'm just saying we're trying to rationalize.
Even the one you just said, I don't agree.
We are trying to rationalize things.
Everybody's not you.
We are reasoning together.
Okay, yeah.
Just because he's of a different gender doesn't make him less provoked.
Yes, thank you.
We are discussing his children too.
Okay.
And you are their mother. You owe him that conversation. Recently in my marriage, I have been faced with tough decisions. My daughter is schooling in a system I did not subscribe to, but it is her father's choice. I didn't want it. I begged. In fact, normal style first I do agidi. Later I humble. I beg. Later I devise cry. He says, I want my daughter to go through this educational system. These are my reasons. I saw the reasons, but me, my own is that my child can never go to boarding school. It's not possible. It's something I have subscribed against for long that it will not happen. But she's schooling there. And we have to look for the better good. Did I say to him, who are you?
To tell me.
Don't do that.
So
now it's even tougher when you're separated. It's tougher. You will now have to find a way to get that conviction.
Yes,
because he can go to court.
Yes.
And sadly, he will be shocked. Even if he did not touch her and show the court, says, this is children, this is what she's, and she will never see those kids again.
Yes.
Okay, let's put this in the proper perspective.
Yes. Can I
get, okay, I wanted to understand what we're hearing.
Okay.
So when our viewers are watching, they understand this.
Okay.
You are saying that people's belief systems should be respected, that you're not judging the woman. You are saying that there's something called provocation that could have led to that act. So it wasn't as if he would naturally beat her up, but that thing he saw provoked him for battery. Now, you are saying that in the law, there's a possibility he might get off.
Yes.
Because if he can prove provocation.
Yes.
Now, you're also saying that it happens in a situation whereby a woman slaps
another
teacher. A teacher
uses cane and you see cane marks.
And then she
goes to slap.
Also, she can also excuse her reaction by the law.
Who would then excuse the reaction and say she was provoked? But
When I started, I said, Moriah, will you allow me go to the man so that it will not look like I was just supporting the woman? And she said, no, we'll come back to that. So I've come back to that. The man overreacted. And I know how you have explained it as provocation, which happens to many of us in different situations. Sometimes we sit back and we're analyzing, no, if it's me, I'll just walk away. It will be you and you will not walk away. You would have done something before realizing that I overreacted. The man could have overreacted from a place of pain. We always assume that the woman has more of the interest of the children at heart, especially in this part of the world. And all the sacrifices men make, we gloss over it. We don't, exactly, we don't see those sacrifices. The man could have seen those children and he was so pained, he didn't just know how to react, right? But his reaction is wrong.
Thank you.
And that will be handled. The law also will take care of that.
He was arrested.
Yes, he has committed a crime in that, and that will be handled. That's separate from the first issue, which is, should I have a conversation? When you are going through divorce, you don't know that it will be more difficult. When we are even at home with those of us that are at home, with our husbands and, you know, having to discuss our children, we have tough sometimes your husband will not agree on something. You will not agree on something, but you find a way. So when you are divorced, you are going through that divorce, you will work twice as hard because now you will have to wait till whenever he's available for that conversation and vice versa, right? Now, also, sometimes we assume that the woman or one party in that relationship knows better than the other. And so because my belief is now higher than your belief, so to speak, I should take this position when it comes to our children. When it comes to your children, if you like, believe in anything. I've been believing in universe since. Oga say, Auntie, when I met you, I did not meet universe. My children will go to church. Because all the scripture you're quoting and all these things you're doing, you grew from the church. So you will give my children that foundation. I humble. Maybe I've gone back to church. I'm going back to church. I'm doing my universe by myself. I'm making sure my children have grounding in the church. My son was arguing with me recently and was like, why am I going to church? Why? I say, Kamdeli, you hear me speak sometimes and you wonder how I know so much about the scriptures. And that's because I have a foundation. As an adult, I've been able to make different decisions based on what I've seen, but I came from somewhere. I'm trying to get you to come from somewhere. Tomorrow you can choose anything that you want. Nobody will hold you, but you must have that grounding. And I got him to understand that, right? To get to that place with my husband took us a while. It was a battle. We're fighting back and back. We'll sit down, we'll be arguing, we'll be quoting scriptures with each other, we'll be arguing. No, you don't. And at the end of the day, he saw from my perspective, because I did not lord it over him to say, I cannot even do that. To say, after all, my beliefs now are not higher than your own. You are still doing Jesus. I'm not universe. Universe is higher. This is this. No. In marriage, you must come with humility. You must listen to each other.
All right.
If you cannot do it for yourself, when it comes to the issues of your children, you must humble yourself.
Okay.
This is when we are talking about a reasonable, happy marriage that is on a journey, but reasonable, happy marriage. Like I said, maybe not marry an unreasonable woman or man.
Yeah.
Yes, where you cannot even communicate your conviction.
Absolutely.
Where you believe in something and it cannot happen. Some people are begging their partner for their child to get medical treatment. People die just because one man says, in my lineage, we don't collect blood transfusion. We don't do surgery. Women have died in the bed of, say, the man says, no, we are praying on the matter. You cannot do surgery to have this baby. Man and woman die. I know, personally, this story. So I'm talking about, I am a Christian. I don't believe in incisions. I don't believe in all those marks. But I know that the people that their entire being believes that if they don't take those incisions on their child, they are going to lose that child. How am I going to look at that person and say what they did is wrong? You cannot compare that one with them beating up a child. Do you understand? So if you beat up my child, you are exerting bodily harm on my child. Doing incision did not hurt that child. You don't know.
You collect before.
You don't know. Did you collect?
We don't know.
It's painful.
I'm coming.
But it could have been painful.
We don't know.
Yes.
It could have been painful. Traditional marks were our culture. It was painful, but it was our culture. So and there are people today. There are people today that still believe that traditional mark is essential to the identity of who they are. It's not for me to go and tell them what they did is wrong. There are issues on both sides. The woman should have found a way to essentially communicate what she believes, no matter how tough it would have been. But if she was if she had conviction on that matter and the man was not reasonable, she could also, because imagine, you don't know what people know. If I am going through something that my mom does not, there are things that they don't, she now calls it allergy. But I was arguing against it. There are things they don't eat in their family line. It's allergy. But all they know is it's forbidden in our family for us to eat it. I'll now come and say, Mommy, it is low vibration. You don't know. You will eat it and it will not affect you. I don't understand that everybody in their lineage has been told not to eat it because they have allergy against it. So she's not eating it, and she's so convinced she should not eat it. I did not eat it till I became an adult. I realized I don't have the allergy against it. But till tomorrow, if she eats it like this, it's scatter body. So conviction is important. Now, with the case of battery, please, let me just land this one of battery and provocation. I do not agree that you can be so provoked that you will be you are so provoked that you will become who you are not. You cannot be so provoked that you become who you are not. Pressure would only release content. You cannot squeeze orange so much and lemon will come out of the orange. The person is someone who beats. So when you squeeze the person, what will come out? Beating will come out because that is what is inside that person. If you are prone to violence, anything will provoke you to violence. That man there must have been a story of beating inside before. So self-control is very, very important when we are angry.
Extremely important. But when you lose it, that's where these defenses come in law. Because there's a possibility you can lose it. In fact, it's measured according to proportion. Whether it's over proportion, under proportion, it's measured. And the courts and the judges who sit behind the bench know how they ration these things. But you know that family courts are not normal courts. They are not normal criminal court and open courts. They're special courts. And their judges are specially trained to see things out of our way. Imagine, because I use the example of a mother and teacher now, it didn't work. Imagine the case, we took it before on this table, where a woman and a man married together had an argument about whether their child should do female genital mutilation.
Hey, that one.
The mother-in-law was living with them. No, they talk now. Everybody have belief.
Should be a tradition.
The man's belief, up all the way to Olohun, is strongly that his child must be mutilated.
That won't enter.
Oh. The woman said,
that won't enter.
I don't believe it. It's not an emergency. So the kukuma concord this mother and her son. Baggage the pikin to Olohun within the weekend, say go weekend holiday. By the time they brought the child back mutilated, the woman was provoked. She did video. She was crying because she's a woman. You get some women be women. This thing will happen. Something will happen. You will not say that she pressured. She called lemon. But I'm rationalizing this now.
I didn't know what I was saying.
I agree.
But you will not bring lemon.
We have to wrap up.
We are going
you will not bring lemon.
I'm just
from
trying
orange.
to say that both parties are human. Both parties can be pressured. Anybody can love their child back.
Yes.
I have been privileged in my marriage. I named my kids.
Yeah.
I choose their primary school. I choose their nursery school. I took it all. And when he reached secondary school, their father showed up. I'm their father too. It took me time. I don't even feel cry coming on herself because I was on bed rest, crying alone inside my room on this issue that no, it must be what I have to. My daughter was in primary 3 when I found her secondary school. I was designed. I knew where I was heading. And I had to mellow because I'm in a marriage.
Yes.
Imagine that I was not in a marriage. Would you think it would be easier? When we were separated,
you will fight.
Court might even help us to choose the school eventually.
I'm telling you.
So
All right.
see, everything is not fight. Some things you must communicate it.
Okay, I think we have a
I
guest.
have
to wrap up.
I have it. My grandfather gave me because I'm supposed to be a big all his grandchildren, all of his children. I know it's not easy.
It's painful, emotionally damaging.
Thank you. And my husband will not allow me, for instance, now they're saying that my grandfather's lineage was.
I know as a child, as a Muslim child, then back then, I think, but when I was a kid, when I was like 7 or something years, I think somewhere, I can't remember, it's obviously cleared out, but I can't remember where it was, but I know that, I remember the Alpha that came to our house to do it. I will never forget that man.
The fear of my father and my grandmother's heart saved me.
I don't even...
That's all we can take on this, but the truth is that violence is not acceptable in any shape or form. Yes, there's provocation, but the truth is that you have to always control your emotions in whatever situations. And people have different belief systems. People are evolving. So just like you said, yes, there's the female genital mutilation, and there's also other beliefs. So some people, we have to just continue to evolve and educate and communicate. I think what you said, like, communicate, really important. Okay, that's all we can take on this segment. We'll come and bring in our guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.